and I'm sure they would have liked, but all the same, coming away with that second. Another, bomb plant in, and yes, Complexity will keep the... Does appear, though, once again, the slight miscommunication, maybe, or just the fact that yuurih has the range to do what he wants with him being a stand-in. He buys up the AK where the rest of the team goes for the half-buy. The hero AK here, but a relatively decent amount of weaponry and armor, particularly, to follow him around. So if he loses this AK, someone else will be very quick to scoop it up and try and give it their best shot. So far, a nice early tag onto JW, though, as they go for a quick rush towards middle. Nothing really showing itself thus far.
Just the opening exchanges of damage. They do have a little bit of util on JKS as well. Still a smoke, couple of flashes. Rush has one of his own. There is an execute in the making. They can get into a position to do so. Krimz boosted up on short, though, is going to catch JKS as he makes his way down middle, and that's going to be at least a couple of nades removed. The smoke will drop on the floor, but the flashes are gone. Now already a man down. You really need your full firepower with the Eagles. You need to be able to overwhelm one of these bomb sites with those smokes, with those flashes. As now the last of the util will go towards that mid window. They have at least got some mid control to work with. They've got the AK on yuurih up short. Couple of Deagles coming up connector. But they need that second prong. They need config on the A ramp to do some damage. Brollan again traded just 1-for-1. blamef will at least be able to recover the AK-47. But they've got to deal with JW. Just 10 health to work with. Rush, nice shot. But again, the trade's so good from FNATIC. 3-on-2. They may concede the bomb plant. But if Golden can stay alive, this retake's looking good.
So well played from him as well to drop back silently. So they're really unsure of where he's gone to. Is he still close? What do we do? blamef. Doesn't secure that frag. Golden with the balls of steel going for that swing. Comes out on top. It's now all on to Rush. He does recover an AK back, but immediately taken down. Not ready for them to be as close as they were. Once again, decent damage early on, I guess, keeping the CT economy modest, but it's the third in a row for FNATIC. Continuing the trend from Train, it would appear, of their very strong CT side over there. They look to kickstart things on Mirage just the same way.
It really feels like the individuals are there for Complexity, but it's just not quite clicking. We're seeing the frags coming through, right? Time and time again, Complexity are getting themselves into afterplants. Rush, again, is hitting some really nice shots, making it work, making those Deagles sing, but when they get into the afterplant, the numbers are just being thinned all too easily. Their blamef should be winning that fight, has to take out Golden, 2-on-2. That retake's looking so much more awkward for FNATIC. It potentially starts to slide away from them. 3v1, of course, they're going to connect. Full buy at least available for Complexity. yuurih, of course, investing in the hero AK in the previous, has to take the hit, drops down onto the Galil. They managed to establish mid control. Normally a hotly contested portion of the map here on Mirage. FNATIC have been forced off of that early engagement. And it looks like Complexity, at least for now, setting up for an A split.
Well, success found early. As JW is caught off guard. Bit of a miscalculation, maybe. Maybe he was watching it, didn't quite catch it, obviously, but let's see. 5-on-4, Complexity looking good with the first. Yeah, not going to check their corners, though. Krimz gets away with one. Can he get another? He's helped out by Brollan, who also finds himself a frag. Will burn. But they've secured the man advantage in the meantime. blamef, so smart here, but Krimz checking him out, taking him down, outbrained the outbrainer, and Golden to find the final frag. Chef's kiss on that round from FNATIC. So well played in and around each other, in all honesty. Krimz and Brollan especially locking down connector.
Using some of those long-built relationships to good effect. The two individuals just firing on all cylinders, and I mean, for FNATIC, it's just looking so clean, isn't it? JW doesn't have a frag to his name yet, but that doesn't even seem to matter as he picks up the big green AWP, and Complexity 4-0 down on their map picks T side. Are going to go for a force buy. The greatest look in the world. The stand-in yuurih is down onto the Deagle. Rifles for the remainder of the team, however. JW's been boosted into ladder room early. Wonder if they're expecting him. Config taking out his own teammate after the tag, but actually does manage to find Golden. Trades his own mistake through 1 for 1. It'll be interesting to see where Complexity look to go with this. blamef has gone straight through the connector smoke. He's already all the way into jungle. JW's not going to expect this at all. Blame will find that. I don't think he expects krimz either. The next man in the window and spraying through the smoke, he will connect. B-bomb site vulnerable. As Rush does take out Jacquinho. 3 on 2 now. FNATIC to try and make this retake stick. Brollan straight through the Molotov, finds the first as well. And somehow krimz has got another pick, bringing it into the 1v1 on this AWP, and he's got JKS as well. krimz, not normally the AWP you'd sing about, but 11 kills to his name inside of 5 rounds. A 5-0 start from FNATIC. And again, it's a 3 on 2. It's a retake for FNATIC. That shouldn't be possible, but once again, they managed to make it work.
Mind-blowing, honestly. It's certainly begs the question whether Complexity still have their minds back in train. Really not looking too good here with the early start. Once again, on their map pick, you know, if you are just joining us and somewhat unaware of the fact, and a very, very, very strong map for Complexity, generally speaking. But FNATIC have come to play today, where Complexity are trying to fit JKS in, but they also have a stand-in. We have players like Config not really performing to their usual level. I would imagine things in the Complexity camp are somewhat tense and macabre, but we'll see. Still time to pull it back, of course, but I feel like losing a round like that has such a dire effect. And you can kind of see, coming into this round, playing things much, much slower. And I think they're just hoping that FNATIC get a bit overconfident after that last round. Give them something to work with, but no. Very, very safe play. They wait a minute before they decide to get aggressive. Of course, there's no one around. And a bit of ramp control to boot. Ooh, Brollan does need to be careful not to bite off more than he can chew, though. Rush on the other side of that smoke. The big question of this round, Wolfie. Will krimz die? Will it be the first round he goes down?
Looks like he's going to be put under pressure, but JW and Brollan showing up in a big way. JKS will find the initial trade, but it's Brollan's ramp control which comes up clutch. krimz with the straight backstab, able to take out yuurih, and Brollan, this is just a clinic from FNATIC. 3 kills to him on the round, a 6-0 start. krimz is still yet to die, even saving the AWP for JW. And that, ladies and gents, is how you hold a ramp. That was so clinical from Brollan. Plays it perfectly to bait in for the swing of krimz, so he catches yuurih looking complete. It's like just collapses. FNATIC really looking like they're on air here, not coming into this series slowly. Of course, their first matches of the year, and they are looking hot right now.
Yeah, this one's looking more worrying for me. I'll hold the point though, because it's a golden Jacquinho to lock things down. Not quite set up on the perfect cross. But a slight reposition from Jacquinho means that he is available to help. At the moment, doesn't quite need it. The flying Tech 9, though, is devastating. And krimz just holds Mouse 1 to deal with the rest of Complexity. Oh, monster that is krimz. My goodness.
Yeah, he's showing up, isn't he? Dropped 24. Already inside of 7 rounds, still yet to die. We were looking for double. Complexity really needing to mix things up here. Something has to change. Sacrificing utility to do so. Full AKs at least in support, and it looks like a straight A execute. No messing about. All 5 players queued up as they look to hit into this A bomb site. It's Brollan and JW. Finds an opening pick and a beautiful flashbang, complete from all of the support. No health to work with. JKS will wallbang him down. With Complexity, for the first time in the while, have got something going their way. Rush, a lovely pick onto Golden and to make here. 2-on-5 retake onto this A bomb site, not looking viable.
Yeah, I don't think so, right? And the nature, of course, of your CT side, even with 7 in a row, the fact that some of the rounds makes things very, very costly. So, playing it safe, I can respect. But they need to run it back from them here on this T side. Would hit that satisfactory mark. And easier said than done at this point. FNATIC, very scary. And this round, I think, relying off of some of that textbook brute force complexity. We'll see. It's hard, I think, to replicate that kind of catch them with their pants. Would assume FNATIC are going to be, indeed, more prepared. And we'll see how they respond.
Interestingly, the finances, all of the rounds we talk about where they do manage to find these retakes, getting back, going down to the last man or two. So if complexity can possibly break it here, it might be before things get really tough once more. Rush will start to probe over towards this B bomb site. Utility trying to isolate Chiquinho, but aggressing, pushing all the way through the apartments before he looks to back off. FNATIC, again, happy to just concede that early mid control. Not too interested in posting JW up, allowing the utility to push him out in towards CT, allowing complexity that control. I think that says a lot about their confidence, clearly feeling these retakes at the moment. 2 players in the apartments, a couple heading their way up short, and Chiquinho have a huge role to play here. Just golden in support of him as the utility starts to run out and the execute starts to come through.
Ooh, big damage. Actually, right time, right place to find a double. Has that done enough? All of the B-bomb site itself, and once again, these famed retakes, at the very least within this series, have to come in from FNATIC. Yuurih going to take down krimz on that AWP. And, well, brollan is, yeah, somewhat indisposed. Finds his frag, though. JW gets the better of his compatriot on the other side and drops config on the cross. Another disadvantageous position for FNATIC. A 3 versus 3 that goes to a 3 versus 2 very quickly, and yet they can pull it back. In part due to Golden standing strong, in massive part to JW getting the better of his opponents on that AWP.
Again, just straight 1v1s, right? JW gets 2 picks. There's nobody there to swing. There's no refrag coming through from complexity. That's what you need when your AWP's going to get a pick like that. Someone has to peek him. Someone needs to flash in. Someone needs to force JW to rethink that possibility, because he just goes for a straight second pick. It's all too easy to make it happen. And again, normally when you see a team like FNATIC just completely abandoning mid control, I'd be concerned, but they are just playing into their strengths at the moment. JW aggressive into mid with a free pick on blamef to open things up. And once again, complexity man down.
Oh, man. Have you ever heard of the phrase on tilt? I feel that's maybe where complexity are at right now, at least some of their players. blamef with the point blank smoke attempt, you know, very risky. And I think he knows that. He'll be somewhat frustrated. JKS, though, found a frag. He's not too bothered about all this mishap in middle. Managed to bring it back to a 4-on-4. Certainly not all said and done just yet. But at the very least, keeping things close. And that's the best that complexity can hope for at this point. Looking to overwhelm these A defenders right now. JW and krimz. As krimz pushes forwards, JW does become vulnerable from pallet. krimz looking to do the work. Only good for 1. Traded back quickly. JW now has to be very careful, and there it is. JKS will catch him at the perfect time while he's on the ladder. Rush dropping golden. I think that seals the deal. Chiquinho will look to save as complexity get another round on the board.
Starting to build something of a T-side resistance here, and looking over at that left-hand side of the screen, looking over at the finances of FNATIC, this is not going to be pretty. Probably looking at an eco around this 1-save rifle, maybe even a force buy onto what little they can afford, given how low their loss bonus is going to be. CT side economy a cruel beast at the moment, but it gives Complexity a chance. It gives them a little bit of time and space to maybe start working out some of these issues that they've clearly been having. They've just been struggling to find their trades. The second round on the board is something, though. They clearly just need something to start going their way to give them a chance here on map 2. They'll be desperate to take it to a third after some slightly awkward showings earlier on this year. And now, potentially, their opportunity to do so. That finance is not there at all for FNATIC. Potentially see some upgraded pistols. Could force onto SMGs if they want to, but it's going to be against the full-blooded buy of Complexity.
I feel with where the econ's at, might just have to go for it. But we'll see. Got quite a hefty lead as well. I don't know. I'd certainly be a fan of the force buy here. What about you?
I think you've got to give it a go. I think you've got the rounds in the board, the cards, right? You've got an elige in hand. Yeah, you've got enough time to play within this half that you can give this a go, especially considering how much you've been winning the gunfight straight up, right? I think if this is closer, if it's been more back and forth, if players aren't repetitively finding multi-kills, you probably look at the eco. But you're trusting your individuals. You're trusting the likes of Krimz, who has had a blinder, 16 kills to his name so far, to get something done, even if he is just on the deagle. However, blamef already removing guns from the scene, 2 in quick succession, including the M4 of brollan. Golden can only find the one in response, and Complexity, this is more like it. Frags across the board. The mid squeeze from FNATIC does not work out. Perhaps starting to see why they're favoring away from that mid control, and Rush will take the deagle out to finish it. That is much more like it from Complexity, dispatching of the force buy from FNATIC, and now they should get an eco as their reward.
FNATIC will have to bide their time just a little while longer. It does appear we have a pause coming in, more technical in nature, this one as well. It would appear without the timer and whatnot. So hopefully we can let you know what the deal is there. But either way, it is going to be a slower round here. I think it comes at a bit of a rough time. Complexity looking to just roll this round over, get into the next rifle round, and keep the momentum going. But a bit of an extended pause is certainly not what the doctor ordered in that sense. So might take some wind out of their sails. But yeah, certainly as you mentioned, sir, looking pretty good in these past couple of rounds. It's a hard one. They can't really afford to let the ball drop for the rest of the half, or at least not majorly, maybe a slight fumble. But if they fully lose control again, FNATIC are in prime position to hit double digits and maybe even go further if this next rifle round goes in favor of FNATIC. So a lot of pressure on Complexity in not this one, but the next one for sure. I think to get that clean road to 6 or 7 rounds.
And it's just Krimz and brollan again, isn't it? You look at their stats for train, right? Krimz drops 24 kills, brollan 23. Next closest is Jaquinho on 14. Then it's 13 and 12. We're 12 rounds into this game. We've got 16 frags on Krimz, 10 on brollan, and everybody else is in single digits for FNATIC. So those two are really showing up in a major way. And if they continue to do so, Complexity have got to find some kind of way to shut them down, because that really is the thorn in the side at the moment. However, in this one, just the eco coming through, not a lot to worry about. Should be able to dispatch of it relatively cleanly. Jaquinho will get one on his USPS, but the rest of the team have been culled in quick succession. And JW, he bought that Zeus hoping maybe someone would wander into it, get our first Zeus here on the B stream, but it doesn't look like Complexity are going to give anything to them at all. Just going to try and hold on to those 4 rifles, and that's understandable, wanting to make sure they can keep that finance going their way. Don't even let JW save the 1 rifle that has been dropped on that B-bomb site.
Makes sense. Finding the 1 kill, I think FNATIC can be somewhat happy with. Bit of kill bonus. And just, you know, asserting some dominance. Reminding Complexity that they are still here. But par for the course this round. Gone exactly as expected. Complexity with a hefty lead within the round itself. Nothing too crazy. JW looking to perhaps find an exit, but nothing coming for him. So he'll take his Lucky Zeus into the next round. And a bit of luck, I think, certainly will be required into this one. Not got the money for an AWP anywhere. So just going to have to go for the rifles, and it is a weak rifle buy. That is for sure. JW, no utility. Ooh, okay.
Hello.
kscreato asking for permission, and he has been given it by the big boss man. Glass cannon up. Let's see what he's got. Meanwhile, in Palace, JKS getting up here quick. There's 2 players around the corner. Needs to be very careful. They're pushing into him. His hold is solid, but unfortunately, his crosshair in the wrong place. JW will dispatch him quickly.
Krimz just needs to turn around, and there's a kill on the board here. He may well catch the timing on this smoke. He will. Rush goes down, and now they're being pincered in Complexity. They've lost their control of the A bomb site. Blame stuck on the stairs. Will be able to dive through the Molotov back into Connector. And actually, FNATIC going to reroute entirely. Yuurih will deal with Jaquinho. That glass cannon AWP not able to get anything done. And if blamef can take out Krimz, this becomes a very different look. Well read by the CT side, however. And a 3v2 retake over towards this B bomb site. Couple of smokes and a flash for FNATIC to try and make it stick as they look to rotate in from short.
Yuurih smart. Watching out towards short. Does change his angle. Needs to be a little careful. There's no kit available, of course, for FNATIC. Keep your eye on that and on the time. Krimz going up high towards short. Can't find anything just yet. We've got to get a move on, but JW is so very low, so very vulnerable. Trying to hold off against Config. Somehow manages to live that exchange, forces Config into the open, and down he goes, but there's hardly any time. Smoke going down, a missed shot from Yuurih. Someone's got to get on the bomb 5 seconds ago, and that'll be the round. Yuurih gets one up close, and unfortunately, FNATIC just don't move fast enough.
That was a little bit awkward, wasn't it? I think somebody thought they had a defuse kit because they were playing it like they had time. Golden taps the bomb. Defuse kit would have bought it for him. Smoke goes onto it, trying to bait Yuurih out of that van angle, but all he has to do is stay alive. He's got that lineup on lock, and he secures Complexity, their 5th. And I'll tell you what, 5 rounds, honestly, given the start they had, feels good for Complexity. I think anything from here will be considered a bonus by them, as once again, FNATIC in an awkward position economically, down to 2 AKs, but JW is going to make the first of them work out early on. blamef, dead and in the grave, as now the A execute looks to come through. Brollan, a very nasty prospect on this deagle, holding towards double. Jaquinho actually going to chime in and take out Yuurih. And once again, Complexity under a little bit of pressure. Config trades 1-for-1, but it's Krimz on that second AK who comes in, and the double spray down will connect. Those are the rounds that Complexity have to be putting away. You cannot give FNATIC the doorway back in, but Krimz will help himself to his 20th kill and help FNATIC to their 9th round.
Yeah, the proverbial final hurdle once again. A chance at recovery into this last round, but certainly going to be kicking themselves if they don't secure that one, especially if they secure this. Could have brought it as close as damn it with a great recovery into this half. If it goes 10-5, it's kind of just a mediocre recovery with FNATIC in firm control of the map and the series. So, pretty important round here moving forwards. They do have a solid buy to speak of. As does FNATIC, though. Once again, playing in towards middle, going for the boost. Into window. Nice bit of nade damage. Nothing too substantial. I think Krimz is savvy to the fact. He's opting not to take an aggressive fight, but certainly aware that window is compromised.
Just sitting, waiting for someone to cross through that murder hole. Perhaps as a result of that lack of mid control, you see Golden trying to get aggressive into the B apartments. Doesn't work out. Rush able to find the frag. Under pressure once again. Jaquinho isolated, not expecting the short player. Config will find the frag, and now the B bomb site looking very open indeed. Complexity with the 2-man advantage as Yuurih even manages to take down the rotating Brollan. Round number 6 looking all the more likely, and it's Yuurih with the collat to finish it as well. A little bit of spice right on the top of that round from the AWPer. But we are going to go into a very quick break. When we're back, the second half of Mirage. Let's see if Complexity can bring it back. Nine 6 at the half. Complexity showing some signs of life at the death of Mirage, but we're going to need a lot more from them if they are to take us to overpass. Of course, I am Wolfie. Joining me for the second half of these antics is Scriv, and I think Complexity, it might just be a bit too little too late.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I think their CT side certainly looked decent to begin with on train. It didn't keep up, but then it's not a comfortable map for them. So maybe it does indeed make sense. Generally speaking, though, they prefer the T side of Mirage. So it's, once again, another scenario, another situation where I think they're slightly uncomfortable and they have to overcome some difficulties here, some key obstacles. But I think if they can get off to a strong start, get the pistol rolling. Rush looked so strong on CT side train. If he can tap into that performance once again, could be very, very scary. I feel that there's more room for an individual CT-sided player to kind of take things over here. If he can flip between bomb sites, be effective in retakes, then FNATIC might have some problems. But it certainly felt like that was FNATIC's half to lose, so I don't know if they can carry some of that through to the T side, right? Like, they're looking pretty good themselves. A slight slip up towards the end. Whether they pull things back. Oh, remains to be seen. Golden on the deagle. cleans up yuurih. And also, that's the only player on A right now. So, sure, they're going for the retake, but they're a man down doing so.
I was going to question the deagle from Golden, but he's taken the words right out of my mouth. Will be taken out and traded by JKS, but with bomb down, brollan trying to escape found by blamef. 3-on-4 retake for Complexity to deal with. JW through the smoke will find JKS, leveling things out in Complexity. They're forced to be aggressive. They've got to push right into the awaiting crosshairs here. JW can't quite land it though. And Jaquinho and krimz left in the clutch. The crossfire's good for the initial pick. And now Rush, half health, trying to swing into it. But of course, krimz is going to take the face. Config able to connect to the 1v1. And now it's all on Jaquinho. He spots out the man. And that's it. Time's up. It will be double digits for Complexity. A little bit of intelligence from Youngster. He doesn't take the fight, just jump peeking across, giving Config absolutely nothing to work with.
Rough once again. Certainly something that they have struggled with in this series is the pistols. It's given a good amount of room across to FNATIC the whole series through, finding themselves 3 of the 4 pistols so far. I think they can be pretty happy with that, right? And it definitely has made the difference, as we saw on Train, and it's now set to make the difference here. Losing the pistol on your CT side, it's a hard one. It sets you back, and they will have to just rely on the rifles, or maybe a super strong performance here with the force buy. But I don't know, I'm saying those words, and I feel like FNATIC have done really, really well of cleaning up the Complexity force buy.
Performance is anything to go by. This should be a relative walk in the park. We do know that Complexity, a lot of individual firepower. krimz will start removing it early. yuurih at least able to find one before he's traded out, buying time for config as he swings it back into the 3-on-3. And this time, at least, not quite so clean from the T side of FNATIC. Looking to back things out ever so slightly. They've got Golden out towards chair. They've got a couple of players probing, but Golden will find the shot. blamef goes down, and that drags the CT response entirely away from this A bomb site. Config, yes, he trades, but he's given up A in the process. And krimz, how many times have we seen him get easy kills from that position? Config just doesn't clear it, and it's on to Rush. 1v2, can't get the first shot, and JW will punish. 2 players left alive, not as clean as the T side would have liked, but once again, it's FNATIC coming out on top.
Really good point that you raised, by the way. krimz has done a great job of just slipping in through all the chaos into some very, very sneaky spots. It does feel that stairway just outside connector, of course, has done very, very well for him. But there have been other times, I think, that he's snuck in behind certain players on that Complexity side, catching them off guard. And another thing that they have to deal with mentally can be very, very annoying to be on the receiving end of config. Not able to find anything. blamef flashed off. yuurih as well forced away. The 3 of them on the deagles towards middle, not able really to find anything noteworthy. So looking really good here for FNATIC. Dealing with the force buy, not super clean, but still getting it done nonetheless. And a forgiving T side, of course. If they don't lose a player here, they'd be building the bank up quite well. And Complexity, so much weight on this first rifle round for them. I think if they lose that, they're really, really in a tough situation that would need them to bounce back in a massive way on their own map pick. And of course, the series already 1 map in hand for FNATIC. There is indeed that lower bracket, but all the same, I think it would be nice to kick your first game of the day with a stand-in into a pretty good position. But work is cut out right now for Complexity. It really is.
FNATIC just seem to be aware of everything on this half by couple of deagles, all that Complexity have to work with. blamef being held, he does find some damage, but JW and brollan a frag apiece, making it look all too easy. The B bomb site now wide open. brollan fancies a little bit more as he takes out Rush on triple. And it is just down to JKS. Whatever damage he can find would be good at this point. But FNATIC, they're going to dial the digits in, make absolutely sure this round is theirs. And brollan even going to back off the intelligent play. Given he's down on 31, a 1 dink from the USP would do it. So he's going to back right out of that situation. Perhaps let krimz and Jaquinho, some of those higher HP players, start going for the hunt. Yeah,
no one around him, unfortunately. Hoping to catch a wanderer. Not going to be the case. 12th round for FNATIC picked up then. Certainly expected, right? And like I said, not losing a single player puts them in pretty good stead, financially speaking. Can certainly afford to lose this next rifle round and still get a strong buy into the next, theoretically. But in their minds, that's not going to happen. They are looking to shut this down before it even begins for Complexity. Doubling their scoreline now. Cole need to pull this CT side out of the bag, get the ball rolling, and keep it going for quite some time. Really build up that momentum. It is no easy task. A lot of pressure on them right now, and FNATIC seem to have been in their heads all day long. See whether that changes coming into round number 19.
Feels like something has to give for FNATIC to lose this one. Complexity need to find the weakness, the break they can exploit. JKS is trying to be aggressive, proactive, but brollan boosted over the top of the smoke will find him. A smart play from FNATIC, a little bit of a read on that aggression, and it sent the CT side scrambling. Complexity didn't really have any other presence here. Yuurih does well to find the pick onto JW, stops the ramp aggression at least for now, but again, Complexity left with no real presence on this A bomb site, looking instead to play more towards the retake. And that will allow that bomb to go down and put Golden in an absolute fantastic position. He can take out Rush on the backstab, and now he can form that after plant as well. Krimz finding the frag onto blamef, and it's just Yuurih and Config to try and pull this one off.
Config leading the charge. Takes down low HP Krimz. Oh, nice little shoulder peek as well. Jacquinho out in the open, and yet still able to take him down. Nice tag onto him, but not able to find the frag. Yuurih just going for it, I guess. He's trying to tap on the bomb, really doesn't know what to do. Orb in this situation as well is not the best weapon. Everything seems to be against him. The one thing is the fact that no one is cleanly landing shots on either side of the equation. Doesn't matter so much. He will survive with the orb, but FNATIC move up to 13. And Complexity really don't have the money moving forwards. This is worst case scenario.
And again, the ball just keeps on rolling. You have to wonder if it's just too hard to stop, just going too quickly for Complexity to really make anything of this second map. And again, it just looks a little bit disjointed from Complexity. JKS tries to get aggressive towards the ramp, he's caught out, and then you look over at that A bomb site and there's really no CT presence there. People are rotating, positioning. If FNATIC had gone quickly, they could have got 90% of the way onto the bomb site before seeing any kind of aggression, any kind of resistance from Complexity, as Yuurih and JW do trade tags in towards the B apartments. It just doesn't feel like it's quite clicking for Complexity right now, and as a result, they're in a very awkward situation with this buy. 3 pistols. Yuurih does manage to save the AWP, of course. JKS goes for the CZ, blame on a UMP. They're trying to keep enough money to buy into the next, but it's that age-old question. At what point is money irrelevant? At what point are rounds all that you require? And I think at 13-6, you've got to start asking that question.
I think they need to start answering it as well, in all honesty. They need to get those rounds on the board. The challenge that lies ahead, well, it's the B bomb site. Great flash over the top from brollan to set himself up. Very well done, but JW behind with the bomb and low HP. Oh, that could be dire. That could be dire. Jacquinho looking to push forwards. He finds a couple. Has he done enough? The drop back towards the A bomb site is also clean. It's all on blamef, and brollan with the clean headshot takes him out. Yeah, a panicked round from both sides, but it's FNATIC ultimately once again in control and able to climb the ladder that is chaos.
Just not fair, is it? That shot from brollan is so nasty to take out blamef. It looks promising for Complexity. They've got the bomb. It's in an awkward spot for FNATIC to recover, but they just can't get the manpower there to defend it. FNATIC just tear them apart on B. They tear them apart on A. And just leave nobody left to look after that bomb. So 14-6. Complexity with what could well be their last roll of the dice in terms of full buys to try and make this one work. Yuurih Be put under pressure. The nade starts to come over the top. Pop flash trying to push him off the angle. Doesn't really hit its mark. So Jaquinho goes down early. And now the mollies start to isolate these fights. JKS swings well. Brollan quick to trade. FNATIC's still a man down, however. And this advanced position from JKS could be huge. Brollan does well. Clears him out. And they can actually bail right out of this situation if they choose.
And indeed they will. Once again, after evening the odds. 5-on-3 back into a 3-on-3. And if this costs Complexity the game, they will be so frustrated. Noise being made over at B, though, I think slightly heard as well. What is the plan here? Brollan low HP. Maybe going to fake out B and then they go mid to A? Or are they going to join via short? Still a little hard to tell. Timing going to be absolutely everything here for Rush as they will opt to move around the corner. And, well, Brollan is the bait. He's low HP. He's making a lot of noise. Rush is trained on this. Tunneling in on this. And, well, oh, no, Golden. How? How has that happened? Doesn't check the angle, the key angle round the corner. Just, I guess, assume because he wasn't getting shot at, there was no one there. That is so unbelievably wild. No time left. And Complexity will get their 7. What the hell?
The worst bit about that is the setup was perfect. Rush was hard scoped into the Beats. He had bit the bait, hook, line, and sinker. He was waiting for Brollan. Golden had the drop on him, and he just doesn't clear his angles well enough. Doesn't check for the man on short. And then, well, it gets a little bit scrappy, but Complexity do come away with a round number 7, and I think that is as rare a lifeline as you will get from FNATIC. Let's see if Complexity can make the most of it. Straight through the smoke, blamef. Beautiful pop flash in from JKS. He gets 2 to open things up. Maybe, just maybe, that has kicked Complexity into life, rushing to 3rd. And it is all going Complexity's way now. JKS straight winning the fight against Brollan. That's the first time in a while. And JW left all on his own to try and do what damage he can against the full force of Complexity.
Revitalized at the tail end then. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe this is the spark to pull things back. JW going to find one. Nice little jump spot onto the second. Nade goes in, softens him up. No real chance. Oh, it seems being taken by Config, but through the smoke will take him down. Only losing the 1 player. They can be very, very happy with that. It's a great round in isolation. There's still, however, a lot of work to do. And perhaps a bit of a half-buy to fend off against into round number 23. Ooh. And a T-pause to contend with as well. So, yeah, a lot of pressure coming onto the shoulders of Complexity. Certainly looking good, but I personally am not believing just quite yet. I think they need to pull out a few more clean rifle rounds before perhaps you get on the Complexity train, the comeback train.
Yeah, for sure. It's not close enough to even start thinking about that just yet. They will just be taking it 1 round at a time, making sure that old cliche still holds true. FNATIC, though, some interesting decisions to make economically. There's a mixed buy on the cards if they want to go for it. And on train with a 7-round lead, they did try the force buy. They did make it stick. So they're going to go for it again. Galil's, AKs. Brollan, the only player taking much of a hit, and we all know what he can do with the Deagle, so by no means a slump of around 4 FNATIC. Still plenty of potential to ruin Complexity's dream of a comeback. Setting up early on for that AXX, just bleeding out some of the early utility as well. Complexity having to commit a lot of nades to this early goal. He's to go out right. He's going to take yuurih straight out of the equation. JKS does fantastically though, and 3 in quick succession on the ramp. Shut it all down. blamef picks Golden out of the sky. And for a split second, that looked like it was all going to fall apart once again. Jaquinho just wide out of Palace, finds the opening pick, but it's JKS trying to match Brollan's antics on the A ramp. A huge hold from him.
Well, they are indeed waking up towards the back end. If there was another map to go, we would say it builds confidence, it gives them momentum, but of course, this is potentially the last of the series. For now, Complexity are holding on. They are showing signs. FNATIC, you would assume, have other ideas moving forwards, and they have a decent amount of room to work with. This round, not expecting too much. Few deagles. And, well, there was a P250, but no longer. Jackinho also taking a pretty heavy tag, so clean little start. Generally speaking, it's like if a deagle gets a crazy headshot, similar to what that could have been. You see some teams fall apart, the panic sets in, they try and trade too quickly, etc., etc. But if it's the stronger team starting off proceedings, generally speaking, they tend to come out on top. Might lose one or two as config does go down. It's a great flash. Unfortunately, not quite soon enough. Got to be careful here. Krimz trying to take down the player at short. JKS got him covered, though. There's some low HP players here, but ultimately looking good for Complexity, as you would expect.
Yeah, brollan not going to get anything else done. blamef will deal with the issue, and you do have to wonder. When you looked at these two teams, you expected FNATIC to maybe start a little bit slower. You looked at them and went, okay, you haven't played yet in 2021. You're still coming off the back of that player break. Maybe Complexity will be coming out of the gate swinging. But now it really looks like the opposite. Complexity, slow to start. Starting to hit their stride now, however. And think for FNATIC, they need to start putting this one to bed sooner rather than later. Double digits, CT side, starting to hit their shots far more cleanly than we've seen so far from Complexity. Maybe they can make this work. Aggressive mid-control. JKS 1-for-1, but Golden not expecting the second man there. So Complexity again will find themselves that early man advantage, and it's funneled FNATIC almost entirely into B. Rush a little bit isolated for now. The Molotov trying to flush him out, but he'll still take down one before he falls, and that should buy time for the rotations.
Yeah, it does so well to find a frag, honestly. I think it's a really good response from FNATIC to isolate the B bomb site and assume that there's less players there because there's more players at middle. Has yet to work out for them, though. Great angle from yuurih. The boost up, super smart, leaves it all on to JW. We pointed at him as a player who had stepped up recently for his squad, and this would be a hell of a step up if he can pull it off. Hidden away, hearing them run in as well. He has positional advantage here and playing things so very smart, so very patiently. I think just about spotted. Can't get the spray through the smoke, though, and doesn't matter about the kills. The defuse will be successful. He doesn't find any kills anyway, so flawlessly done from Complexity to secure round number 11, and they will continue to press their advantage.
Okay, I'm starting to believe now. This is starting to feel like it could happen, and FNATIC taking another pause suggests that they start to think this is getting a little too close for comfort as well. Complexity really starting to switch on here, and JW can't quite pull off the big 3v1 to keep his team in the ascendancy. They do have the money to buy here, FNATIC. If they wanted an AWP, they'd have to glass cannon, but they could pick up the utility and AKs regardless. And the problem for Complexity is it's only 2 rounds. A couple of mistakes and this all falls apart at the seams. They have not left themselves any breathing room to take us to Overpass, to take us to that third map. We'll have to wait and see if they can make it happen. yuurih on that AWP has started to have a bit of a resurgence. Let's see if he can continue that form. FNATIC, I think they're going to start to scrape the bottom of the playbook a little bit here. They need something different to break open what is becoming an increasingly resolute CT defense. And it looks like pretty much same as last round, mid-B split. This time no aggression from Complexity.
Oh, just above the smoke, yuurih is trying to do some damage. Can't really find it. Keeps going for these repeats, though. Certainly ballsy. Flash goes in for him. Oh, he's not landing the quick shots, though, unfortunately. Coming close. Oh. But eventually bites off more than he can chew. Config does get a trade back in. blamef getting one. It's not really enough, though. They've got a 3-on-2 advantage here on the FNATIC side of things. What with Jackinho finding an isolated frag. JW going down to rush, though, makes all the difference. These rounds are getting messy. And it's back down to a 2-on-2 Wolfie. JKS, though, perfect position to cut off the bomb.
This could be everything. He gets this run, surely. Golden, though, straight wins the fight. Not a player you usually look to for those kind of frags, but he's just out-dueled JKS, and Rush, the hero of the train CT side, arguably for Complexity, needs to do it again here on Mirage. 35 seconds left. I think Jackinho has heard him as well. You saw Golden just backing off of that A ramp, and Rush on the timing is starting to rethink his commitments. He'll clear his way through the murder hole. He's going to go check the B bomb site. It will be a free plant for FNATIC. It will be a free 2v1. Rush in need of an absolute miracle here. It can't be less than perfect. The footsteps will be heard. Jaquinho well placed to deal with Rush as he comes through the murder hole. Map and series point FNATIC. And it's going to need overtime if Complexity want to keep themselves in this matchup.
That's really got to burn. That has really got to burn. That hurts. They're going to go towards the double AWP setup, see whether they can make it work. It's config on this map actually to pick it up, so time will tell if they're able to find success. But I don't know, man. This is really not looking too good. Krimz on a deke? What's happened here then? Where's his AK gone? I think they might have miscalculated ever so slightly, and you never know. That might make a difference.
Slight lack of firepower, and coming up against the double AWPs as well. Could cost them yet. Molotov to force brollan off his initial position. Top con, but he's going to go around the side of the smoke. A free pick onto blamef, who just straight wasn't expecting it. Rush does well. He's going to need support from JKS, falling off his aggressions. Yuurih and Rush chiming in. And Complexity, again, just shutting this one down at source for a split second. It looked like brollan might have unlocked the A site, but instead, it's krimz and golden. Lovely one tap from golden to start things off. But krimz still stuck on that deagle. Needs a lot more from that AK-47 to make you think FNATIC can pull this one off.
Oh, he's retrieved one though. And now they're trying to put something together. Bomb drop. So golden can take the initial peek and clap Yuurih into next week. Oh my goodness. And it might just be, at the very least, until tomorrow, if they're able to pull off this now 2-on-2. Slight utility left to go for the crosses, to flash themselves in. Get a smoke towards jungle. A few angles isolated. Config on the crack angle. They need to be so very careful. When it comes to crossing, and golden goes straight into his crosshairs. Now all onto krimz, the man of the match so far for FNATIC. Can he answer back perfectly? Going up on high, finds the head of config. 9 seconds left, knows that Rush is off to the right-hand side, but can't get it done. Rush has bailed Complexity out once again, saving them in round number 27 and keeping them alive a little while longer. 3 more to go.
Huge clutch from Rush. It's kept the dreams of Complexity alive in this opening matchup. Saves the AWP as well, keeps the double AWP setup going. Puts FNATIC in an awkward position again, down to the half by Tech9's deagle. I think we all know where this is ending up. Couple of smokes, half a dozen flashes to throw over the top. Contact B has been called. An isolated Rush is here. Despite the heroics of previous, he's only got a FAMAS. And as the Tech9 start to swarm in, no Molotov to stop the drop. Config is now here. Nice shots from the pair to open things up. Golden at least able to find one in response, and brollan has taken out the AWP. There are rifles on the floor now as the bomb starts to get dialed in. The Complexity are a little slow on the rotation, waiting for JKS to make his way over from A before they commit to this, but it's brollan again. The Tech9 chiming in. Surely this isn't how they go down. Yuurih and JKS, they need a pick. They need something. Yuki's been caught with his nade out. Brollan just buying time, playing with his prey as golden is baited in, and there is nothing JKS can do. 16-12, the final scoreline, as FNATIC do keep on marching. The 2-0 is secured. And what a performance.